Over the past few years, the Democrats have attempted a concentrated campaign to undermine the legitimacy of the Supreme Court. They don't like the makeup of the court. They don't like some of the decisions that are coming out of the court. And so there are proposals out there to pack the court, proposals to come up with so-called reforms, and there have been attempts to pressure individual justices on the Supreme Court by the Democrats. The only crisis at the Supreme Court is the tantrum that the Democrats are throwing and trying to undermine its legitimacy. Republicans are going to have nothing to do with that. We believe the Supreme Court is an independent branch of the government, that the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court can make the policies and decisions with respect to the court that it needs, just like we would with any other branch of our government. And so, you know, the bill that's being marked up in the Judiciary Committee this week is just one more attempt in part of that concentrated campaign to undermine the legitimacy of the Supreme Court, and I expect there's going to be a very robust discussion around that this week. What we should be doing here, instead of that, is what we have on the floor right now, and that's the National Defense Authorization Act, and trying to figure out a way to process amendments so we can deal with, as the leader pointed out, all the threats that we face around the planet today. You got a land war in Europe. You have increasing Chinese aggression all over the planet and other threats that we need to deal with. So the National Defense Authorization Act is one of the most important pieces of legislation that we deal with and process every year here. We should have a robust amendment process so senators who don't serve on the Senate Armed Services Committee can have an opportunity to get their issues, the things that are important to them, up for a vote in the Senate, and I hope that the Democrat leader, Senator Schumer, will work with us to ensure that that happens, and that we can get that bill across the finish line and deal with something that actually is meaningful and does matter to the future of this country, and quit messing around with trying to undermine and delegitimize the Supreme Court.